Welcome to Sikorski's Think Abouts, and I'm your host, Laura Sikorski. Our show appeals to different companies in customer service, technology, customer experience. And what our guests do is they bring areas of operations that will help you solve an issue that you may have. And today we are at the Daily Blue News Studios, and we are very excited to have Karin, Caro, and Kelly Ann Meinecke. She doesn't like me to call her Ann, but that's okay. I'm so used to calling her Kelly Ann, so that's it. And we're very excited to be here because this is the first show in the new studio. And of course it is Martin Luther King's Day, and I think that's also very special.
That is.
So let me just give you a little background about both of these beautiful young ladies sitting with me. Karin is founder and president of Blue Chip Marketing and the Daily Blue. And each of these companies is a social media marketing type of company. It's very new in the industry. A lot of companies don't do that, and where they rely on other people to do their social media. And Blue Chip provides a very, very high caliber of quality to their customers. I've seen it work, and I think they're to be commended for doing that. And Kelly Ann is she's going to kill me after this. Kelly Ann is the social marketing manager, and that's a really big responsibility here for the company because she is responsible for all the clients' social media postings. She does their blogging, and then of course what clients always want to know is, how am I doing? What's happening? So she does all the analytics. So with that, we've got kind of a fun show today. We want to know, what does a baby boomer, that's me, a Gen Xer, Karin, and a Gen Yer, Kelly, think about when experiencing or their perspective of customer service, customer experience, and technology. So I thought we'd just give a little definition of who a baby boomer is. So I'm not going to tell you exactly where I fit in.
Me neither.
None of us are going to tell you. But I'm the baby boomer. We have Gen X, which is Karin, and certainly we have Kelly Ann. And you know, the Gen Y is also known as the millennials, I think, and they're trying to figure out what the next grouping is going to be. A friend of mine, Janine Bondi, she said it's linksters, so I don't know if I like that kind of definition.
Right.
But for all of us out there, see where you fit in and see if you agree with what we're going to be talking about today. So in terms of customer service, by way of definition, customer service is a one-time only. You have to reach out to a company, ask a question, return a product, complain, say it was great. So I'm going to start with this question. What frustrates you both about customer service today? Karin, why don't we start with you?
I think I'm, just like I was labeled there, kind of in between. So I am in between the traditional forms of customer service where you actually pick up the phone and speak to a person, and then where I see Kelly flourish and what she's very good at with a social response. And I'm sort of in between. I do really believe in picking up the phone and speaking to somebody, but the most frustrating thing is that there's so many tools that you can't keep up. So even though I truly believe, and I contend with this on my own accord, that I'm trying to reach out and speak to people, but I'm also getting a Facebook message, a LinkedIn message, emails. People, if they don't reach me, they'll call me on different phones to find me. It is frustrating. Yeah. And if I also want to deliver excellent customer service, I don't need to reach out on every avenue to make sure that I'm telling or speaking to that person. So it goes both ways.
And it does get very frustrating because I know myself, and as a consultant, vendors try to find you, and they use every method, every means of what they see that you have, and then you just get turned off, and then it's just not
going to work.
It's not effective. How about you, Kelly? What do you think?
Kind of the same thing. There are so many ways to reach out, and I think that's great, but sometimes I've had trouble where I'm trying to reach someone and they only have email, and I feel like it would be much easier if I was able to just pick up the phone because my message wasn't getting through on email. They weren't understanding my situation.
Or they don't answer you.
Or they don't answer you, yeah.
So, and I totally agree. I had the same situation as I mentioned. What do you think great customer service should be like, Kelly?
Patience. I think patience is very, very important. If you're dealing with customers, you definitely have to be patient. And it's also being able to say you had someone who was very frustrating and very difficult, picking up the phone and then helping someone next and understanding it's a new person and you just have to start over and have a new mindset with them, and just definitely patience is number one.
Okay.
I think I drive my staff crazy with saying over-deliver. I just feel like we want to over-deliver and make everyone happy. And I think sometimes they're like, well, we can't make this person happy. Come on, Karin.
Right.
I just feel like we can do our best to make sure everyone's happy and over-deliver our services. So if they're expecting one thing, they actually are going to get so much more from us, so much more response and engagement than they had thought. So I just think that being on top of that and making them always happy. I want them to leave happy.
You know, a happy customer means a happy employee, and vice versa.
Right.
One of the things, you know, me as a baby boomer, I think would be that if a person is going to pick up the phone, they have to shut everything else out, and when they say hello, they have to really say hello. They have to have a smile in their voice.
True.
And a lot of times you call companies today and it's hello,
Yeah.
you know, and you go, okay, what did I do to make this person hate me already?
Yeah.
You know, meanwhile,
Well,
and that puts me in right away a very angry mood,
Exactly,
you
yeah.
know.
Again, if you're not happy at work and you're not feeling like happy with your life, then that's going to transition into your customers and the rest of the staff, and everything is not good. And I don't
It
think
just snowballs out of control.
right.
If you could talk to a CEO about their service, good or bad, what would you say?
I would say you don't have, well, first of all, make yourself transparent, because I think being transparent with your staff and your customers is really important. Don't hide in an exclusive, beautiful office and nobody sees you and you're just bossing those people around.
Exactly. Make yourself available.
Yeah. What a great leader that is, that people look up to you and admire you, whether it's your customers or your staff. Your resiliency, your transparency, your honesty, your integrity, those are what I think people should think of you and remember. So I do know CEOs that they're not very good at being social, and that's not what I'm saying here. You can be an introvert and still be completely transparent and engaging, and not kind of hide in the shadows.
Absolutely.
And I know I've worked for Diners Club, did some consulting, and the CEO walked the floor, and you know, that's a huge call center as an example, and there were almost 300 seats in this call center. He didn't know everybody by name, but everybody had a name tag. So he made sure that he would go down different aisles and introduce himself and make sure that they were comfortable, and if they needed anything, or how are our customers today, what's the mode going on the work floor. So I think, you know, and that's important. And, you know, you have the luxury because you're a small office. I think it's, what, 10, 15 people, but they all know you. Could you just imagine as you grow, if people don't have that same reaction?
Well, I have been in circumstances with obviously other businesses that I've owned that have a tremendous amount of people. And again, there's still the same model that you can have a still small mentality, but with a big company. Say hello to everybody, engage with everybody, respond to everybody, be transparent, be understanding, be loyal. And when people see you in the hallway or out on the street, you shake their hand and say, how do you like the job? Is there anything that I can do? I have been in that situation many times, and I think that you hear the most feedback from your employees. / their customers.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, loyalty to a brand. Kelly, what do you think about being, you know, today there are so many different ways you can be loyal. You could tell people on Twitter how great they are. What do you use Twitter as a Gen Yer to say, hey, I just, you know?
Absolutely. Definitely. If I have a good experience, I'll definitely tweet it out and say, you know, even this restaurant was great. I just had a great meal here. Especially Instagram is huge for that too. Like, people post their pictures of their food all the time, and it's a great outlet for that. And
I think that Twitter is a great way to be expressive, and I love when companies tweet back
and answer you back. Yeah, exactly.
You just had that.
Yeah,
the
I just
other
had
day.
that with the Chipotle down the road.
Staples tweeted my dogs, and you did something with Clifford once that was.
Yeah,
really
they sent back a personalized picture with the dog, and thank you for following us. Like, so cute, and for them to take the time to just do that, it makes you feel like, oh, that's so nice. There's somebody on the other end of this. Like,
yes. But interestingly enough, I don't feel the same way if you're looking to bash somebody. I don't think online cyberbullying or giving poor reviews is a way to...
It's not constructive. I mean, what do they think is going to be, happen?
Right.
I mean, it's not going to change the company overnight into doing something, and it just is getting something off your
negative.
chest, and it's not really putting you in a good light.
No, it doesn't. No. I think any negativity online, I think that in that circumstance, if you really feel that you have something negative to say, call and speak, or go in person and speak to a manager or a president or a CEO and tell them this was my experience. I'd want to hear that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want bashing online for everyone to see when it could be something that could be fixed very easily.
And there are some of them that go so viral. And they're so mean.
Negative.
And it's just, it doesn't do anybody any good.
No.
It
They had
really
a
doesn't.
thing recently where a pizza guy, he delivered his pizza to this company, and he gave him change. He drove back, and then they called and asked him to bring it back, and it was $7, and they didn't tip him. So he brought it back, and he was like very nice to them. I'm sorry, whatever. And they gave him an attitude, and then they put the video online thinking they were bashing him. And long story short, they've raised $11,000 for this kid for tips for dealing with those people.
Wow. Wow. That'll bite you.
I know,
that'll bite
it's
you in
the
the
power of social
And
media.
you know, there is a good thing that even if you try to hide and try to make fake profiles, a company it always comes back to you. So even if you use a different computer and you're looking to bash someone or hurt somebody and your IP address is different, it doesn't matter. It picks up the servers of where you are and the location, and that always comes back. So just don't do it. Make a phone call and just say, hey, I'm not happy with this. And
and then don't take it out on the representative either.
Or an entire company based on one incident or something like that.
And that's just not fair. You know, it just, hiccups happen.
Right.
That's it. Let's talk now about customer experience. Customer experience is, you've been dealing with a company, buying things and so forth, and then you've had problems and all that kind of stuff. But what happens is you develop a warm and fuzzy, either like or a warm and hate kind of relationship. So these questions, how do you feel when a company reaches out to you when there is a problem? Or has that never happened to you?
I honestly don't think that's ever happened to me.
That a company has reached out proactively when there's a
Not
problem.
proactively,
I'm trying to think of when there's a circumstance that has ever happened. Of course, I'd welcome it and say, I vaguely remember things happening that somebody has said, I just want you to know in advance that something has transpired. And I think that that's fine. I mean, that's great. People will be understanding. We, within our own company, have had some major changes here. And we, again, have been transparent that this is what's going on, and we need you to work with us. I think there's a lot to be said about a company that does something like that.
And I think, for me, I've seen it where companies are supposed to deliver a package, and the customer is expecting it tomorrow in the afternoon, and the company knows it's not going to happen. There was a snowstorm or whatever, and so what they do is they proactively call and say, I just want to give you a heads up, this is what's happened. So that then, when tomorrow would have come and the person didn't get the item, they would call and be mad. Now they turn around and they call and they go, wow, they let me know and they gave me a better time frame so I can play for it. And that's where the call center and customer service industry is going. To know about your customers, know their cycle of how they buy things. If they buy X product every 6 months, call them up and say, I know you're coming around to order your 6 products, but we have a special this month. And if you buy it earlier, then you'll save some money. And I think that's where our industry
Well,
needs
how
to
disappointing is it when you don't know about those sales and then you see it and you just spent the regular price and you've been a customer? It's deflating, and it makes you not really want to stay there.
No, 100% agree. What do you expect companies to know about you?
Her name is Kelly.
Your buying habits?
I guess your buying habits, and just, it's not that I expect them to know too much about me, it's just expecting them to...
Do you think it's privacy, that they shouldn't?
Like on Facebook, it is kind of creepy that sometimes I'll be searching stuff online and then I go on Facebook and the ads will come up. Like I looked
that
at
is
Jeeps
true.
recently, and now all my Facebook is filled with going to car dealerships, and that really it creeps me out, to be quite honest, because it's just weird how they know that, and even certain things I've had in my wish list, like they'll pop up, and it's just.
Now, see, I would have thought that would be my answer. You know, that I think it's creepy. Now, for a Gen Yer, I think that's unusual because I think that you would want everybody to know.
To a certain extent, but when I feel like my like searches are being like picked up somehow, it's kind
Where's
of.
the right of privacy?
Yeah.
I agree with that. I don't care for that whatsoever. If I'm going to ask for voluntarily, I want information about a company, I subscribe, or I put my email address in, or perhaps even they've picked up that I was on their site. That's even different than having something in a private wish list. Or
Amazon will send me recommendations, like based on your purchases, you might like this. That's fine. I like that. But when it's just in your face all the time, like coming up, like you search this, so here it is again. It's kind of like, all right.
Yeah, no, I
and
agree.
that could be really detrimental, actually, because if you know somebody used your computer looking for an engagement ring, and then all of a sudden you're like,
Oh, goodness gracious, let's move on.
I don't know how that got there.
How do you personally let others know good or bad experiences?
how do I let people know about good and bad experiences? In dealing with another company, I guess.
Company, yeah.
Well, again, we use Twitter quite frequently or Instagram, or even Facebook. You can give ratings on, or even LinkedIn. You're able to engage
like
and
Yelp
respond.
and
Right.
Yeah. As far as bad experiences, again, I think that should be in person. It shouldn't be something that you need to expose to the world that you're upset about a scenario. I think that just is negativity, and negativity, I mean, perpetuates.
To me, it depends what it is, because I use Yelp a lot for restaurants and stuff.
I have no idea what Yelp is.
Yelp is
It's a review site.
It's a review site for like restaurants and hotels, but mostly restaurants. So I use it all the time when I'm going to look for somewhere new to go out to dinner. I'll check it out. So if I do have a bad experience at a restaurant, if it's something like with a waiter, or they brought me the wrong thing, I won't go on there like, oh, they brought me this. But if it's like okay food, I'll say it was okay, but the service was really great. Just because I use it a lot, so I do like that people use that, because there's been times where I'm like, let's go to this place, and I go on, I see they have 2 stars, and it's like, my food was this, my food was bad, and you see the pattern, and it's like, okay, I'm glad I checked that out, because I'm going to avoid that now.
See, I enjoy looking at experiences when I'm buying something new. Like if I'm buying a new monitor or a new computer, I like to see what others are saying about it.
Right.
So that's when I, enjoy that somebody took the time to comment.
Right.
And then when you look consistently and you see the same people,
pattern.
Yeah.
the pattern, then you say, maybe the volume isn't so good on that monitor, type of a thing.
Yeah.
So I like doing it.
Right. I agree. I think that but again, it shouldn't be bashing.
But like, you're not going on there like, my waiter spilt my drink all over me, this place is terrible. Like, that's like he had an off day, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with the food or
Right.
You can be honest. And then again, if the waiter spilled his drink all over you, how did you could say that and then say, well, the restaurant did this and this and this to make it right.
For me,
Right, which can be useful too.
So let's talk a little bit about technology. Technology today has made it very easy to do a lot of different things. You can do it negatively and positively behind the scenes. But you have the internet. When you can use the website, you could use email. You have chat on the internet. Chat, to me, is the best thing since sliced bread, because I could hide behind it and I could, talk and text away. It could be phone. It could be texting. Right now, texting is outgoing, mostly in customer service industry, inbound, because a text can't recognize an 800 number because it's not by one unique person. So they're still trying to figure out that. So how do you communicate with a company? Do you prefer phone or?
Well, like I said, I had an issue with LinkedIn earlier this year, and I'm emailing them, trying to reach out to them, and they were writing back and they weren't getting the situation, and I'm like, this would be so much easier if I could just call you, and they have no customer service number.
LinkedIn is very bad with that.
No,
Amazon doesn't have a customer service number either.
Amazon does have a customer service number. They do.
Off camera, would you let me
know?
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm like so loyal to Amazon, so I would definitely give you that number.
Loyal.
They're very good with that. Exactly. I have called them, and they're very helpful and in that aspect. But yeah, it was just really frustrating that there was no way I could just pick up and talk to a person.
I think for a company to just have a number of ways to allow the public, depending upon your demographic or your clientele, if you have a number of ways to get in touch with you, then you're going to have great customer service. If there's no way to get in touch with you, or if you have somebody getting in touch with you on every avenue, you know,
right.
If you make sure there's multiple ways.
And you know, those in the industry, it's called channels. And what the biggest issue we have is that people are forgetting that they're supposed to deliver the same service on each channel.
Right.
So we talked about what you expect them to have, and that's a phone number that you can visibly call. What do you use a company's website for? I mean, I find as a baby boomer, they put so much stuff on their websites now that it's like I don't even bother reading it because it's too much, too many words. I can't find what I'm looking for. They put the frequently asked questions on there, and it's like, okay, it's taking me forever to find the question. I could have called, and it would have been 30 seconds for me to get an answer.
I think finding the phone number on the website, again, having a phone number, if you can speak to a live person, I don't think that anything is better than that. You always want to be able to speak to a live person because, let's just face it, the computer-generated voice pickup of when you say, lost or stolen credit card, and they say, do you want to make a payment? It's so frustrating. Yes, we always want a real phone number, and I think that websites are just different now. They should supply a limited amount of information, but ultimately we're looking at their social media. That's how we're finding people. We're not picking up a Yellow Pages. We're not looking at their website in depth. We're looking at the reviews. We're looking at social media. Do they engage? Do they respond? Do they keep up with it? It's just the way that I think our generation, I'm combining us, I'm going over here to hers.
And I'm just kind of leaning over towards that.
I see.
Well, believe it or not, we're almost out of time. And I do have a Twitter question. I think this is quite funny. What companies, it's not funny, but I think it's quite interesting that they would ask this question. What companies do you think offer great customer service?
Oh, like I was just saying before, Amazon, for sure. Amazon, anytime I've ever had an issue, it's been resolved immediately. Everyone that picks up there is usually very nice. They always seem happy. What can I do to help you? They're good at, I've ordered stuff and they've just sent like 10% off your $10 off your next purchase, just thrown in the package because they see you've ordered from them a lot. They send the recommendations and the emails, and Amazon's definitely been one.
So, but they also know about you, right?
Yeah,
so that's that whole issue of privacy too, that we were a little concerned about, but yet it's a really positive effect.
It is, but like it's just based on your purchases, and it's not like they're always emailing you. It's just every once in a while. You might like this, or this is still in your wish list, and what they do is, which is nice, is they will track the price. So if it's gone down, like it'll say this item, since you've had it in your wish list, has gone down 20%. Do you want to order it now? Which is nice because sometimes you see it and you're like, oh yeah, it definitely it's on sale. That's great. So I like them a lot.
Okay, Karin.
Well, before the show, I was speaking about Zappos and how I heard Tony Hsieh, and then you told me the story about how they sent back...
they sent a wrong pair of shoes. My boyfriend had ordered like sneakers, and they sent these women's sandals on accident, and he called, and the woman was like, okay, we'll overnight the yours to you, and keep those, give them to your girlfriend, your mom, whoever you want, and...
When you see the owner of a company, and he is, Tony Hsieh, say something like, well, if someone calls us, we don't care if they want shoes. If they want pizza, we're going to direct them to the nearest area. When you're training your staff to help and over-deliver and be positive, and no matter what the staff isn't saying, you did not call for pizza, we don't do. They find an answer, and then they can say, listen, the next time you really want shoes, make sure you call Zappos, because we care. It's just, that's important.
Exactly, and I've had a lot of different instances same way, and I think it's just a matter of how the company cares about their customers and what they can do, what kind of an experience that they can give. Well, thank you so much for a great show. I appreciate it. I appreciate your coming in on Martin Luther King Day. I know the rest of the day these guys have off.
They do. We're leaving.
Freedom. There's going to be like a wind out of the studio. But next week's show, January 26th, is Lisa Renee Pomerantz, and she's an attorney at law. And we're going to talk about avoiding and resolving disputes with customers, vendors, and employees, and what we could do beforehand so it doesn't happen. And with that, I want to say thank you for clicking in. Have a great rest of the day, and see you next week.